Yo, what's going on to all my sports peeps out there? It's your favorite sports podcast. But if you don't know the name, let me put you on game. It's the Zone Sports Podcast.
Pew, 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 pew.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what it is. I'm one half of your host, your boy Big V. You know what I'm saying? I'm here with my great co-host. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let him introduce himself. Hey, let him know who you be, my G.
Yo, it's your boy C double O L. I'm truly wondering what in the hell your boy Corey never telling the same old tired story. Your boy Cool C, I don't know. I ain't never dated a floozy, man. Hey, for those out there in YouTube land, man, y'all know the drill. We got the side out for you out back. It's your boy Corey, Big Vito. What's happening?
Man, I'm great, bro. You know what I mean? I couldn't even be better myself. You know what I mean? We got a lot of sports talk to get into. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be one of them days, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? One of them days, one of them pods. But before we jump the pod off, let me let y'all know who we sponsored by. We sponsored by my brand, Skyzone.Society. So make sure you shopping at Skyzone.Society.bigcartel.com. And you know, it could be sponsored by Canada Dry Ginger Ale. One of the best
It could
tasting
be.
ginger ales in the world. Salute. You know what I mean? Hey, salute.
Salute.
Mm-hmm. Corey, I know you good. No, I look. Everybody's good. We got plenty of sports talks to get
Yeah.
into. But look, ladies and gentlemen, you probably on the way home from work. You know what I'm saying? At this very moment of Wednesday. You know what I mean? What's the date, Corey? What is the date?
The
June 10th,
10th,
July. Sorry,
January
not
10th.
June. January 10th. You know what I mean? Wednesday. You probably at work just getting off, and you probably just missed this breaking news, Corey. Nick Saban retires from college football. Man. What? I did not see this coming. Pause. Did not. This is crazy
Yeah.
to me right now. Like I can't even lie. I'm at a loss for words. You know what's crazy though, Corey? We always at a loss for words, man. When we know something, um, when we know something is on the way. And
Yeah.
Nick Saban been coaching during a half hour adult life. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And he's an older gentleman, and it's crazy. I just had this conversation with my wife last week when Michigan played Alabama. She was asking how old he was, and I was like, I really don't know how. Maybe you can look that up real quick.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I say he's got to be at least going on 70.
Oh,
And
yeah. Yeah. I mean, easy. Let me see here. Nick Saban,
yeah, look that up real quick. And
72 years old.
see, I said he at least had to be going on 70. And she was like, well, how long do you think he could probably do this? And I said, he's gonna probably do this until he can't do it no more. And I'm guessing, Corey, today was the day where he decided can't do no more. I mean, it's not like he had anything else to prove. Um, the greatest coach of college football. Let's just put it out there.
Yep.
Undisputed, undisputed. I know a lot of people, mention Bill Walsh and things like that, and other great coaches. They didn't do it like Saban. Saban, man, Saban should have had his own video game. You know what I mean? Like he
Yeah.
one of the ones. You know what I mean? Saban, legendary. You know what I mean? What five to seven championships or something like that, Corey?
Got seven. I think he got seven of them things, dude.
Seven, dog. What we talking about right now? We talking
That's
about.
facts.
I would say the Bill Belichick of college football, but that would be a slap in the face to the man that Nick Saban is. Nick Saban is the Nick Saban of college football. Corey, what are
Yeah.
your thoughts, man?
Man, my mouth hit the floor. I'm trying to get. I was preparing the brace for the maybe do a couple of audibles in the podcast to fit Pete Carroll up in there, and maybe we still can. But let's stick to Nick Saban,
Mm,
dude.
mm.
I was shocked. I really was. I saw absolutely no indications that this was even on the table, right? And I think that the changing landscape of college football maybe accelerated this, like it did Coach K, like it did Roy Williams. You look at somebody, I mean, craziness notwithstanding with Joe Paterno, if I'm not mistaken, he coached well until like his upper 80s. So your wife asked how long could he do it? The answer is as long as he feels like it. Like, I mean, again, him and Pete Carroll, I think they're both 72. And both of those mofos are the youngest 72-year-olds I've ever seen. Um, and I think that when you start to look at how much I got left to prove, right? Like, every in sports, man, it's all competitive driven, right? Who's the best? Nick Saban's the best in
Yeah,
college. Easy. Um, and you start to look at, like, I think we've all had days on a job where it was your last week on the job, right? I mean, I am not at nowhere near retirement yet, but your last week on the job. And you tell yourself coming into that last week, don't even talk about the last day. I'm not even, hey, I technically did not work on my last day. I was basically a zombie hugging everybody, saying, okay, cool, man. It was cool seeing you. Nice working with you for the past X amount of years.
yeah,
I ain't not one ticket at all. Like, I'm basically just there cleaning out my desk, having folks load them up into the car. So now you look at someone like Nick Saban, and you sit here and say, hey, man, you're going to take it to the max. That was my mentality of, like, my last day or last week on the job. But that's a lie. Most of the times it's a lie. But it wasn't with Nick Saban, right? It's not like that with a lot of other coaches that retired. And but you do look at the changing landscape of college, how rapid it is, how the SEC is going to have 3 billion teams in it. How, how the Big Ten is going to have 3 billion teams in it. Are we just going to go down to this, that, and the third? And I think that the lifeblood of anything collegiate is recruiting, right? And so, see, and I'm not saying this is the case, but I do think it's a factor where you say, hey, man, look, Alabama, even through the NILs,
yeah,
is still the king of the hill,
yeah.
but that gap ain't as wide as it used to be,
No,
right?
it's not. It's not.
Not with the NIL is not. And see, you used to be able to, back in the day, for those who don't know, in college, well, prior to the NIL and the transfer portal, if a student didn't like what was going on at that said university for almost any reason, you got some rare exceptions. But for the most part, if the coach promised you're gonna be the starter or you're gonna be second string and none of that ain't happening, then it's like, man, fine, I don't want to play. Okay, cool. You can transfer. You've still always been able to transfer, but you had to sit out for a year
Yeah,
unless you're going to a D2 or a D3 school.
yeah,
That ain't the case anymore. If Nick Saban, not saying that he did, but if Nick Saban approaches you back, they recruiting Big V back as early as the 7th, 8th grade and say, hey, you're going to be the guy. I'm going to be the coach. Damn, if I leave and go to another school or not, because I don't get to sit, I don't have to sit out for a year. You know, you have to sit out for a year. And so now you're constantly recruiting, not necessarily even new players. You're trying to constantly recruit players that are already on your roster, whether it's for keeping them out the transfer portal,
mm,
whether it's a money deal from NIL to say, hey, man, look, man, yeah, I know big bad Alabama, but you know what, man? Come on down here to Georgia. Come on down here to Washington. Come on down here to Texas. Hell, come on down to North Carolina. Come on down to anywhere. And so if that student says, you know what, man, I don't know if I'm going to be NFL ready. Let me go ahead and get this collegiate NIL money now while I can, because it ain't guaranteed. I'm going to give you a case in point without veering off too far to the left. Tar Heel basketball, Armando Bacot. Love the guy to death. I hope that he pans well in the NBA. I do. But for whatever reason or another, with the exception of a few, Tar Heel players, they don't quite pan out as well as we think that they should in the NBA. So you got Armando Bacot staying at Carolina way longer than I thought he was going to. But why is he staying? Money. And I don't blame him. If I got a grade that go to the next level, which most players collegiate can do, to say, hey, we grade you at first round, we grade you at a second round, we grade you at whatever round. And it's like, you're not really getting that grade because Armando Bacot, he's not really a shooter. And the NBA as it stands today is a shooter's league. Why not stay? So you talking about bringing it back to Nick Saban, it's like, wait, I know I'm still the ish, but man, my job just got a whole lot harder. I got all the money that I could possibly can ever want. I'm 72 years old. Bringing it back to my last day on the job theory, I don't really need this anymore. And I don't have to. He got a billion championships. He got more money than Scrooge McDuck, okay? 72 years old. If he wins another championship, so what? What does that do? Nothing. Not in regards of his legacy. You can argue that we talked about this before a few podcasts ago. This is a down year for Alabama, and they still made the college football playoffs.
You're right.
You ain't no more.
You're right. You're right. So basically, you think that Nick Saban couldn't adapt with the times of the NIL, and that might have pushed him out the door because he's been vocal that he didn't like the NIL.
He did not like the NIL. He don't like the transfer portal. I think he could have dealt with it.
Yeah,
I
but
just think I don't have to deal with it.
and it's
That's the
crazy.
difference.
It's crazy that you bring up recruiting real quick. I want to read something like that just came across my phone. 5-star wide receiver and 2024 number 9 overall recruit Ryan Williams decommitted from Alabama following the retirement of head coach Nick
There you
Saban.
go.
Williams noted that Saban's departure played a factor in his decision, and the wide
Yep.
receiver was the Crimson Tide's third highest rated recruit from 24's class, only trailing cornerback Jalen. I'm gonna probably butcher your last name Mbakwe and quarterback Julian Sayin.
There you
Uh,
go.
mm. Williams initially committed to Alabama in 2022. Going back to your
Right.
point about seventh and eighth grade, if they want to recruit you and all that, you got a good point. That's a strong point, Corey. I like that point, man. That's a great point. You know what I mean? And I want to lean on the point that he probably retired because Michigan smacked their ass. So let's talk about that. You
It's a
probably retired. You
possibility.
know what I mean? As a Michigan fan, I think we booted your ass out there a little early, and you was like, hold on, I don't know what the hell to do. Oh my God, let me get the fuck out of here, man, because these guys right here are too much. They too
The
much.
Big V.
You
Big
know,
V, real quick, I got one for you. Can I use this as a verb? I
yeah.
think Nick Saban might have got Coach Cade.
Oh,
Can I say that? Can I say that? I had to throw that one in there.
we running with that narrative. We are running with that narrative. Yes, Michigan, Coach K Saban, and he get the hell out of there just like Coach K did.
He got
Hey,
Coach Cade, baby.
hey, look, this is why this guy is the best co-host in the world. You see what my nigga bring to the table? You see what he bring to the table? Yo, leave it to us. The reign of Saban's retirement. Only here at the best sports podcast you never heard. The Zone, baby. We here, baby. And on that note, we're going to segue to Michigan, baby. Yes, sir. We're going to talk about the national championship, Corey. What a game. Let's just start there first. What a game. What a great game, man. What a great game between Washington and Michigan, ladies and gentlemen. If you missed it, you missed a classic game, man. What a game. Of course, Michigan got out of there with the dub to be the first team to go undefeated and win the college football national championship. Corey, I gotta tell you, man, listen, as a lifetime Wolverine fan, and I do mean lifetime, I was there when Chris Webber called the timeout.
Yeah.
Bro, for real though, that's still a sore subject for me. Cause
Okay.
you know,
Not for
I,
me.
you know, I've been a Carolina fan my whole life as well. But boy, I love Webber more than I did Carolina that year. I did. I love me some Chris Webber, man. To this day, Deontay Wilder voice. I still love Chris Webber, man. Yo, Webber, come on the show, bro. I'm gonna tag you in this. We love you on this show. Come on up here, man. You know, we a small podcast. You know, we ain't nothing big. You know, but we just want to give you some roses, man. You know what I mean? Webber, we love you, man.
Yeah.
And you know when they lost that game, that was just a tough one. Um, but just going back to me just being a fan of my whole entire life, man. Seeing them win this championship, man, after taking so many countless L's to Ohio State. I mean, it's no secret. Ohio State has the better overall record, and it's not even close. It's not like Carolina and Duke where they trade off, where one might be 81 and 80, you know what I mean? Out of the however many times they've met, it's not even that close. But let me tell you, man, it hasn't been that close these past 3 years either because we smoked you guys. We've literally smoked you guys. We smoked y'all this year too, and I'm standing on. I love that. That was my Christmas when we smoked you guys. I'm going to continue to shout that out until next season, and we smoke you guys again. But yeah, man. The championship meant everything, man. What a man. Listen, what a game by JJ McCarthy. What a game. What a
Yeah.
game by JJ McCarthy. Michigan's quarterback. I love him. Corey, they couldn't do nothing with the run. They couldn't do nothing with the run. Just when you thought they made in-game adjustments, Corey, now we got y'all. We got y'all. And oh, by the way, I just want to real quick want to point out every time one of you guys that are impact players and come in with these fancy nicknames, oh Maserati Moth and all this other stuff, and we just want to talk about Penix or whatever your name is, a quarterback for Washington. Yo, it's funny. It's funny every time y'all see us, every time this year when y'all have seen us, we haven't seen y'all. I'm still looking for what is it? Suzuki Marv, Chevy Cruise Marv, Honda Pilot Marv. Help me out, Corey, because he wasn't looking like a Maserati against us. He just wasn't. You know what I mean? And everybody was saying, "Oh, Penix 45 consecutive games with a 20-yard bomber. Where you at? Where you was at? Where you was at? Because when you was throwing them 20-yard bombers, we was picking them off. We was batting them down. It was as my great. I can't remember what my man name who used to host the games. The Joe Montana football game, the video games back in the day. But
Oh,
when you used to
yeah.
throw an incomplete pass, he would say, "Nothing doing." And that's what was going on when y'all was throwing them bombs. No explosive plays, no nothing doing. And this what was so good to me, Corey. It was the fashion that we beat them in. Yeah, we beat y'all by 3 touchdowns. We beat y'all in convincing fashion, is what I'm telling you. Convincing fashion. And I'm talking my shit because every time these other teams played us, Corey, when they would score on us, Corey, you know what they would do?
Oh.
That's what they would do. They would, for the people because they had like they had the binoculars back that was making fun of us for the whole cheating scandal and all that. You know what I mean? So they would score on us and they would do this. So I just want to do this to everybody that scored on us this year. You know what I mean? Since y'all had, because maybe y'all had too much medicine in y'all bifocals, but guess what? Ours was 2020, baby. We saw right through every team that we played against. You know what I mean? Every time they counted us out, we was there. We beat Saban this year. We beat Ohio State, and we came in, beat everybody that was put against us, Corey, down to the national championship to go undefeated. And I'm gonna say this: Jim Harbaugh is out of there. He's gone.
Yeah,
He's gone, Corey. He's out of there.
and I understand why he will leave
Of course.
because there's so many good NFL job. Like I think it's gonna
Yep.
be a really good year. We're talking about the Chargers
Yeah.
job in particular
Yeah.
being open.
Oh, and by the way, I mean, like you mentioned Pete Carroll. I
Yeah,
mean that I mean he just got fired or whatever happened over there. He's leaving, retiring. I mean that job is available. I mean the Vegas job. The Raiders
yeah.
are starting to do things. Tom Brady, they connected. We don't know what's going on, man.
I want him to stay in college for another year.
I want him to go anywhere but Carolina.
I,
No Panthers. No
yeah,
Panthers. No Panthers. No
I, I
Panthers.
I want him to stay because y'all won the championship, and you as a fan have your right to talk your shit, and you should. Period, point blank. No matter what is or what's going on. I love Jim Harbaugh. I love this man. I have a man crush on this guy when he was with my 49ers. And I wish like hell that this Connor Stallion stuff wasn't going on, whether he knew about it or he didn't. And I would love for him to stay another year to say, see, I'm good to go. Because, see, you had, and I keep doing this with the Patriots and your Houston Astros, because look, I'm that guy. And if this happened with the 49ers, if this happened with the Tar Heels, or if it happened with any team that I root for, I don't care. I'm still going to talk my ish, regardless of what's going on. I just hate that this dominance came under this cloud. I want the black cloud moved to the side because me personally, I don't feel like, let's just say he knew about it. He didn't need it, right? No more than the Patriots needed it during their run of Spygate or Deflategate. No more than the Houston Astros needed it when the whole trash can bank. Why? Because all of them teams that I just mentioned outside of Michigan won a championship outside of them circumstances, at least that we know. Houston Astros, they just won the World Series after the whole trash can Oscar the Grouch banging incident, right? New England, they had some Super Bowls outside of the Deflategate and Spygate, and I want that for Jim
I see what you're
Harbaugh.
saying. I see what you're saying.
Until that happens, it's going to be maybe not as equivalent to how they do our Lakers. Ooh, that was the bubble. That was the bubble. I want to smack
Which is the
somebody.
stupid. That's the stupidest
It's
shit
the
I've ever
dumbest
heard in
thing
my
I've
life.
ever heard,
I
right?
heard.
So selfishly, I want him to do this without. And now, will he do it in the NFL? Well, honestly, unless he's going to the 49ers, I actually hope not. You know, to really be honest with you. But let me get to the game real quick. Could not do anything against the run. You took the words right out of my mouth. Yes, the final score was 34-13. It was closer than what it was.
It was.
Opportunities was had. Michael Penix was throwing some okay passes. There was some drops
It
in
was some
there
drops.
as well. With Michigan, Blake Snell happened. Why? Because you could not stop Blake Snell because he don't move like a snail. He moves like a rabbit. I'm changing his name from Blake Snell to Blake Roger Rabbit. Listen, hey, come on to the 49ers. We need some relief with Christian McCaffrey. Blake, come on over. I'm pounding already. Could not do anything with it. It stinks because JJ McCarthy I think, is a great quarterback. He did not really have a chance to display that this past Monday night because you didn't need to. Yeah. Listen. The 49ers, that Jimmy G year where we made it to the Super Bowl, where I think you could count on both your hands how many times he put the ball in the air. Couldn't nobody stop our run that year. Couldn't nobody stop y'all run, really, arguably, this year, let alone the championship game. But man, I am happy for Harbaugh. He got the proverbial monkey, at least of a championship, off his back. I hope they let him live for a little bit. I'm with you. I think he's gone.
Yeah,
but
I think
it was good to see. I just wanted to happen when that black cloud is just a little bit to the left. That's it.
I want him to stay one more year myself. You know what I mean? I just think he's out of there, Corey. I really do. Let's keep it let's definitely keep it on college football, Corey. And I want to read you a quote before I propose this question. Well, let me propose the question first. You see, Nick Saban is retiring. Michigan is the champ. You think that there's some smoke over Ohio State for that coach, Corey, that's over there, Mr. Ron Day? Because Mr. Ryan Day, pardon me. Because I wanna read a quote, a tweet from a well-known Ohio statesman by the name of Maurice Claret. You know what I mean?
Claret.
You know, he's from our era, you know what I mean? You know how he give it up. So this was right after Michigan won the championship. He tweeted, "Before I go to sleep, let me say this. Ryan Day is on the clock. Don't get caught up with me rooting for the conference. Get caught up in the obvious. Ryan can seize the moment and slay the dragon or lose and get rolled out of Columbus. I'm rooting for him to slay the dragon. They'll both be undefeated and he'll be playing the defending national champs. He will have his shot. Save this tweet. I can almost guarantee this to be true.
Whew.
Corey, according to a fellow Ohio statesman, Ryan Day, after getting his ass whooped these last few years by the defending national undefeated champs, the, the, see what I did there? The Michigan Wolverines. You know what I mean? Corey, what are your thoughts, baby?
So you asked, is he on the clock? Hell yeah, he's on the clock. Oh, you better
you know,
believe he's on the clock.
you've been on this podcast saying this a couple podcasts ago that it might be TikTok over there for him, man.
Yeah, it is, and I'm gonna tell you why. As a matter of fact, I mean, we talked about. I ain't gonna relitigate it because we ain't got that much time. But again, rivalries is the lifeline of college athletics. Period. Point blank.
Yeah,
And you can ask someone, "Hey, would you rather be Michigan or would you rather win the Natty?" And I guarantee you that is not the easiest decision in the world. You're going to have some people that's going to say the Natty, but you're
yeah,
going to have a whole lot of other people that are going to say, "Hey, man, we'll let the Natty worry about itself. We got to beat Michigan and everything else that comes with it. We can live with that." That's how I feel it with Duke and Carolina and so forth and so forth. Yeah, it's on the clock. And I think it's going to get heightened. Assuming that Jim Harbaugh leaves, is really going to get heightened. Because, see, the thing is with rivalries and really more so collegiate sports, you can argue professional as well, is that when your team, if Jim Harbaugh leaves, and if I'm not mistaken, I think JJ McCartney's up out of there. I think Blake Snell is up out of there. I don't know. I don't know. You know more than I do. I don't know his classification or nothing like that. But let's just assume that JJ is out, Blake Snell is out, a few other key pieces during this championship run is out. And I get it. College is a place where you can lock and reload with the swiftness.
and real quick, and the people that don't know, he's Blake Snell. He's referring to Blake Corum, and they call him Snell just for the people that don't know. There you go.
So like next year could be looked at as a down year for Michigan, assuming that Jim leaves,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And don't re-up. Well, this is your opportunity if you're Ohio State to get them. Because see, you know what? When Urban Meyer left and when Ryan Day became the coach, that's what I thought y'all was going to do to Ohio State, and it didn't happen for the longest of time. I'm like, oh, that's what, if you notice, when Urban Meyer was there, Jim Harbaugh's seat wasn't as hot as it was before he started losing to Ryan Day, who is basically a new coach or whatever.
Yeah.
So to me, that same pressure is going to be on him, assuming that Jim Harbaugh leaves and y'all don't re-up. But yeah, the clock is ticking, and I'm telling you, it's getting late real fast.
That's a good point, bro. I like that point because I hadn't even thought about that point you just said. They probably was giving Harbaugh some grace dealing with what's my man name, Urban Meyer, because of how seasoned, and his repertoire, you know what I mean, that he already had. But you going against somebody who doesn't have the stature, so to speak, the college football stature, so to speak, of an Urban Meyer like Ron Day, and we start losing to them. Yeah, it was hot. We talked about it. When it was happening, it was hot for Harbaugh. He had to turn it. He
had to take a pay cut and everything.
Yeah, and I mean, he had to turn this organization around. Pause. He had to do that, and I want to talk about the tweet a little bit. He said that I'm rooting for him to slay the dragon. They'll both be undefeated, and he'll be playing to defend the national champs. So he's basically saying Ohio State and Michigan will both be undefeated, and that's not possible. That's not possible when they have to play each other. So I don't even know how a fellow Ohio statesman even says that and follows that up with he will have his shot. Save this tweet, dog. I understand what you was going for, but you're wrong in that they both will not be undefeated because we have to. Somebody has to lose, unless he knows something that we don't. Ohio State is planning on going to another conference, which I don't see happening. So no, they won't be undefeated, Mr. Claret. And I love you. Shout out to Maurice. You know what I mean? But I think I maybe that was a typo or something. I don't know, but nah. I could maybe see them. I mean, could they? You know what? I could see them really. They may have a chance at going against each other in the playoffs if they both make it because they're adding more teams. So
yeah,
I don't know about the championship though, Corey.
Yeah, I know that they're getting rid of the divisions in the Big Ten. I think they're starting this upcoming season. So it's not going to be no East and West or anything like.
Right.
maybe he was just talking about when they finally do meet up. But I mean, if he's talking about like a championship, like
You
maybe
know,
he's talking about like regular season, because
you
see,
know
y'all always
what?
see each other at the end of the regular season.
He,
So
he,
maybe
he
that's what he's talking
That's
about.
a good point. You're right. That's exactly what he's saying. I see that now because he's saying we'll both be undefeated when we play each other, and he's rooting for them to slay the dragon, which is us. He's right. You're right. Good point, bro. Good point. I
Okay.
like that. Listen, Ryan Day. Listen, his seat is burning up like the devil was sitting on it. And let me tell you, I'm surprised at this moment as we speak that he even has a job after we won the chip. That had to hurt. We whooped y'all last 3 times already. Then we gonna win the chip undefeated. It's one thing for us to have that chink in our armor and it be y'all and we lose to y'all and we 14-1 and we still win the chip. But we wiped out everybody, including you Ohio State's guys. Your
Yeah.
seat is hot, fam. And we made it hotter. And let me tell you, man, listen, if you think some recruits that was committed to Ohio State ain't thinking about going to Michigan right now, think again. And I mean that per we get rid of Harbaugh. Per we
Yeah.
lose Harbaugh. I guarantee you some recruits thinking like,
Yeah,
uh.
y'all will be able to lock and reload. I think Alabama will be able to lock and reload too. It's just some places just self recruit themselves.
And Ohio State and Michigan is one of those places
Yep.
that does recruit themselves. But Ryan Day, I'm here to tell you, bro. I hope that seat gets hotter. I do. As a Wolverine, I hope to burn your ass, and I hope we continue to make it hot for you. Pause. I do. I do. Let's switch it over to some NBA real quick, man. Get into some sad news, Corey. You know this hurts my heart very much. Ladies and gentlemen, the zoners of the Zone Sports Podcast. If you've been under a rock, Ja Morant is out for the season with a shoulder injury. He is set to undergo surgery ASAP and will not be returning this season. Corey, man, you know, wasn't even 3, 4 podcasts ago. I told you he's what the game's been missing. And
Yeah,
and it was exciting to have him back. Every game I saw him play was exciting in his return. Um, this hurt me, man. This hurts. Like this hurts, man. This hurts. This hurts. This is tough. Like as a Ja Morant fan, man, this is tough, but it's some people say, if he kept playing the way he did, that he would maybe put them in a spot to get in the playoffs. I'm not one
yeah.
of those guys. I don't think that they were going to make it, Corey. They were
That's the
already
thing.
he missed 25 games without being on the court, man, and I just didn't I think, it was just I think it was probably just, the right decision to not put as much stress on yourself and hurt yourself as much as you probably already are in pain and trying to fight through it, trying to get a playoff berth. Nah, because it's not just we gonna get into the playoffs. You have to go through the play-in system, then the
Yeah.
playoffs. It's a whole lot, man. Corey, what are your thoughts on this, man?
He is the most exciting player in the NBA right now to me. Like he's box office or whatnot. And we know about the whole suspension and all that. I just hate it for him. And the bigger thing that I worry about now is like, oh man, I was already gone for 25 games. I do wonder how does that affect the mental that now that I came back, now that I kind of got myself together, and now this
Yeah.
happened. So now I'm worried again about the influences of those around him because now
Mm,
a lot of times when you are rehabbing, you're not really around your team. You're more so on your own, maybe with the trainer. Maybe they'll make an exception due to his unfortunate circumstances. But a lot of times, every time I watch documentaries on players who had crazy injuries, a lot of times they've always said that they are away from the team while this is happening. If I'm not mistaken, when he was suspended, he was still able to be at least in the team facilities. I'm not sure he was able to practice, but I know he was at least able to be in the facility. And now he won't have that by nature of health. So I hope that he continues on the path that he was on mentally, and that the 2024-2025 season is all his, minus as long as it ain't having no issues with the Lakers. But I hate it for him, and he needs to be back on the court. I'm with you. I was floored when I was not a fan. And the thing is, not that I'm a diehard John Morant fan. I'm still a fan of the NBA outside of the Lakers. Like the Lakers don't have to be on
Right.
TV for me to watch NBA games. And I tell you, man, he was good to watch. Watching him play against the Pelicans when he first came back, man, I mean, it was a sight to see. And once again, we're going to be robbed of not seeing one of the premier athletes on the court.
Get well, Ja, man. You know what I mean? Get well, man. Hopefully you have a great and speedy recovery, and just rest up for next season, man. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Corey, I know we had the what the hell segment, man. I don't know if you got time to get into it. You know what I'm
We,
saying?
we can we can save this for next week because I want to.
Okay.
You guys, this is what we're gonna call a tease. You guys stay tuned because I got to give it to this guy. Pause, no pause, however you want to do it. And I need a minimum of 5 minutes to
Okay.
justify. Matter of fact, it's two people involved, so I got to give. Hey, baby,
Oh,
about to have a three-way, baby. Okay, we about to have a three-way with these mofos. Okay, so I need 5 minutes. We don't have that. Stay tuned next week. Got you covered.
and we're gonna pause Corey on the three-way. You feel me? Most definitely. We're gonna definitely pause Corey. He got a little cat. He
And see,
got a
look,
little.
I didn't pause it because I knew you was going to pause it.
You was getting a little too carried away. I had to pause you with it. I had to pause you. I gave you one time, but you said it a couple times. I had to
Hey,
stop the
hey,
presses
I
on
was
that.
wondering how many chances you was going to give me. Hey, I'm comfortable in my manhood, but I know Big V got me regardless.
Yo, for
Stay
sure,
tuned
man.
for the three-way next week, baby.
Hey, man. Shout, shout,
Yeah,
shout out to everybody that be tuning into the podcast, yo.
yeah.
Hey, man. That's all I got for y'all, man. Shout out to y'all, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. We're going to see y'all next week when Corey dropping 3 names. I'm not going to say the three-way. Corey got 3 names for y'all on the What the Hell segment. But guess what, man? Y'all know how we do this thing, right? Y'all know how we end it. Let's end it right, baby. Peace.
Peace.